Number 10, the famous fly-half. Today, we've got Boeta Chamberlain here from the Vodacom Bulls. Thank you, Boeta. Thanks for joining us today. You're apparently a general, so I don't know what gesture I should make, but hello. This is 1 to 15, made just for you by BrightRock. We've teamed up with the Vodacom Bulls to bring you all the details on what exactly rugby players do. Tell me about that. Why is a fly called the general?
I think it takes control between the backs and the forwards, try and get the forwards in the best position as possible to score and to create opportunities for our back on the outside to score as well.
Okay, so you literally have to manage all those people.
Manage everything. The
So you're a good manager.
Yeah, the calling system, where we play, how we want to play.
And then your job as Boeta on the field with that number 10 jersey on game day, what is your job?
I would say just to keep the backs and the forwards as controlled as possible, not let my head down, because if I drop my head, they all feed off my energy.
Okay.
So I have to keep them on one level, keep the backs on the same level as well. My comms as short but as clear as possible to them, so they know exactly what to do and where to do what. And like I said, to put my forwards in positions where they will thrive and be able to turn those opportunities into points.
The kicking duties obviously usually flies on the fly-off, yeah. So explain that part. Like, have you always liked kicking and then it sort of became your job, or in general, and you got into this position? Where did that come from?
I would say from a young age, you always in the back garden, trying to print in that situation of a kick to win the game for us. I just, from the moment I could
walk, probably
walk, yeah. I just wanted to have a rugby ball or any ball with me to play outside with. And kicking wise, like I love it, just the process of it. And in that situation, it's only you. Whatever you did the whole week or month or year, that whole process of leading up to that situation, that specific moment, it's something I can't describe. It's a feeling of they put the trust in me, and I have to thrive in this now.
The general. In that moment, would you mind sharing your process with us?
I tend to line the seam of the ball to the right upright, because I naturally kick with a little draw. Try to go back on 5 steps back on the Gilbert side to give myself a line towards the ball. Only thing I tell myself is head over the ball and follow through.
Is that going through your mind?
That's going through my mind, yeah. And as soon as you start the process, there's no turning back. Once you take that first step, you just have to carry on what you've been training for years and years and years, just to put it into that scenario.
And given, the crowds we have in South Africa, or even, specifically, I'm assuming abroad as well, the comments, the chirping, how do you, and sometimes you write against them, how does that affect you, or how do you block it out?
Something you probably learn from a young age is to cancel every noise out and focus on what you need to do in that situation. But sometimes I like when the crowd shows me.
Okay.
As soon as I hit it and I know it's over, I turn around and I normally show something to the crowd.
Really?
Just to get under the skin more. But that doesn't happen quite often. It depends on the scenario of the game and feeling in the moment as well.
Is there a favorite chirp that comes to mind?
Well, school level was ridiculous.
Well, it preps you for, grown-up life, so fair enough.
Yeah, there's some words that I can't say that people shout, especially schoolboys when you play, say, Paul Roos or Grey College or Paul Jim. Paul Jim is probably the worst. Interschools, 5,000 to 10,000 old boys standing next to the field.
Groot mense.
Everyone shouting, just taking out your family, left, right, center. And for me, in that, I don't take those things to heart, so I tend to laugh about it. And when I kick it over, I turn and chirp them back. But if I have to miss it, then I'll just run straight back. And okay.
Ja, then it's also like a turning back.
No. Especially when you miss it, no.
Because, you manage a lot on the field, but that kicking, it seems one of the most, or not the most important part, is the kicking responsibilities. Is that accurate?
Yes, yeah.
And how much training, specific training goes into that? Hours, and is it before, after, with, do you do extra?
Yeah, so I kick Monday, Tuesday and Thursdays, and then Fridays at captains, and then Saturday when we go out for warm-up. We tend to normally have a kicking comp between the kickers outside, just to make it a bit more...
Fuel you a bit.
Yes, yeah. I tend to put up a prize for whoever wins.
Ooh, what's the prizes?
It's normally $100 or coffee the next day.
Okay.
So there's always something that you kick for.
On the note of kicking, how much time goes into honing that technique? And then if you need to change something, how long does it take to change that thing? Because you're obviously also building into your career still in a way. Yeah. So how does that process work?
I think every kicker has his own style. You can't let every single person kick the same way. Everyone's built different, everyone is formed different. So you have to kind of find out what works for you. And that takes a while to actually find something that works and stick to that and build on that. And if something goes wrong, it's normally not a big thing. It's normally just the way you approach the ball, or you lift your head too quickly, or you're falling away. So it's small things. As kickers, we tend to go a bit too deep into
analysis.
into analysis, actually try and find something that's wrong that's actually not wrong. For us, we just try and keep it as simple as possible, because I mean, we've kicked thousands and thousands of kicks, so your body just needs to get used to that rhythm.
Have you had to change anything yet?
I've changed my kicking style since school probably 4 or 5 times.
Oh, wow.
Different tees has an impact on that as well. For the past 2 years, I've been using one single tee, and I can see like everything just comes naturally.
Okay.
Because I've done it so many times with that single, the tee and my run up, and everything is exactly the same.
So there's not necessarily a wrong way to kick, it's your own way of kicking it. But there are certain things you have to do right.
Yeah, you just have to master your own style, but small aspects of the kicking process stays exactly the same.
Well, it's quite detailed. Are you like that at home as well? Very detail orientated?
No. At
opposite.
home, I tend to relax and do absolutely as less as possible.
Okay, fair enough. That makes sense. Chilling out.
Yeah.
In terms of fly-halves, what have been some of your biggest inspirations?
I like the way Marcus Smith approaches the game. His confidence on the rugby field. It's something that you can't teach. That just comes from owning that specific position, specific place in the team. I think he's someone that I look up to. Just the way he carries himself, the way he plays, always that confident player going forward, never standing back. I think that's someone that I look up to.
Okay. And that confidence, do you feel you have it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because you go out there and dictate what people need to do.
Well, if you don't have confidence out there, then the team is not going to have confidence in you.
Okay.
So,
what do you think are some of the misconceptions around your position? Fans, they assume things about fly-halves or assume things or whatever.
well, they tend to say that we kick the ball too many times. The week leading up to the game, we have a lot of clips that we watch, a lot of stuff we go through. So the reasons why we kick is specific reasons. Find ourselves in a better position, to find my forwards so that they can stay on the front foot. Sometimes the kick is not the most accurate, but the idea behind it is what we've been training the whole week. And people think kicking to poles and touch is easy, but there's a very small margin between getting it right and getting it wrong. And I tend to, for touchline kicks, I tend to go as far as possible, so my forwards have closer distance to the try line to go. And sometimes that doesn't work out. Probably people don't understand how much pressure there is in that situation of finding the touch, finding the goal kick or something like that.
So what do you want to say to those people? Just give me a breath, give me a gap.
After every game, I tend to talk to my dad and my brother-in-law.
Okay.
That's just a tradition that's been going on since I was in primary school.
So that's your release?
That's my release, yeah. Something I would say to them is, if it was that easy, why don't we have more rugby players out there or more kickers out there?
Oh, I want to hear from Andre as well, what he has as your SNC coach, about this pressure and how they handle it. Yeah, what's your relationship like, Andre and...
No,
it's very good off the field, but on the field, when he kicks for goal, then he gets quite aggressive.
Is it?
Especially when I'm late. Get a tee to him.
or don't bring the right tee.
I was about to ask, so your role in his game day?
I tend to stay away from Boeta on game day because he's most flyers are like that. So you learn what to do on the field and what not to say to them. Boeta is very uptight when he gets to the goal kicking, so I leave him because he knows exactly what he needs to do and get the ball over the poles.
Okay, and in the training week leading up to that game day, what is your role in Boeta's life there?
In Boeta's position, it's quite important just to make sure that he's resilient enough. He needs enough upper body strength to withstand when the forwards run up on them. He needs mobility, he needs flexibility in his groins because he kicks a lot of kicks on both feet. And he obviously needs a lot of acceleration work, forward and back, quick steps, forward and back to get into position to attack again or to defend. So his position is a little bit different from the rest. So he needs short bursts of energy that he needs to use.
And how do we train that?
Exactly like I just explained it. So it's a lot of skipping, powerful movement, jumping up and down, forward and back.
It seems you like a skipping rope.
Yeah, I like it.
They don't.
It's not as easy as
No, but remember, fly-halves are the glory boys. They guys with the fancy hairstyles and don't like contact, but they are the conductors of the team. So they pull all the strings, whether we go forward or back. Normally not back, but forward, how far they can drive us up the field. They're the Tom Bradys of the team.
So a lot of skipping, and is it like box jumps or what type of exercises?
General strength work, but you also need brains to understand the game and understand where you need to be on the field and what the calls are and how you communicate with the forwards and the backs.
And how do you train that part?
Is
that mental? Is that more psychology?
Yes, and I think the coaches play a huge role in that. S&C coaches, we don't really get involved in that because that's very rugby specific.
In terms of that, do you have a sports psychologist or something like that that helps with that?
I've got 2 mentors that I talk to on on a weekly basis, just to
Literally
discuss.
about rugby and that your
One is
position.
specifically about rugby, one is specifically about personal life.
And it helps.
Yeah, it
Oh,
helps a
wow.
lot. I don't like mixing the two because work hours is work hours and off the field is off the field. So I tend to have two mentors and talk to one specific about rugby and one specific about personal life.
And the rugby one, what does that engage about, or how does he engage about it, or
He just asked me questions of certain scenarios of the game
okay?
to put myself in that situation before I get to that situation on a weekend. When I get there on a weekend, I've been here before. I know exactly what to do, almost like one step ahead of that scenario and that situation.
Where he's very good is that if there's a kick that we need to kick and it's the last kick of the game to win, then when I stand next to him, you can see in his eyes and you know he's going to do it.
What do you see on him on game day? Like when you bring up the tee?
He's very focused. So like certain fly-halves, I can talk to and talk nonsense to them when you give him the tee. To Boeta, you just keep quiet, hand him the tee, give him his water and just give him confidence. Just say, you've got this, and then you walk away.
More of a mental game as well as the physical one. So thank you for the physical part, Andre. We appreciate that. Now we play the bounce. Got 3 super random questions for you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. If you are called the general, what would you call the front row?
Workhorse.
The workhorses. That's nice.
I could go, but
trademark that.
I could have gone other way, but
No, well done. Be diplomatic, yeah? Have you named your car?
no, I haven't.
Thinking about names?
I came up with the name the other day and my wife told me no, it has to be a girl's name. I don't know why.
But we can judge. Tell us a name.
No, I just came up with a weird name.
Come on, Boeta.
I wanted to call it Pukkie.
Oh my, that's nice.
Yeah. But then,
Cute.
I've said, no, it has to be a girl's name. And I was like,
Okay, so-
I'm not going to call my Bucky a girl's name. It
Like,
doesn't-
what's Sorrel?
no,
Sarah.
so like hers were, so she had a Suzuki Swift and she called it Taylor, because of Taylor Swift.
Okay, so that's not your
or
journey.
Susie the Silver Suzuki. So she had all the
There's
S's in
way
my-
too much thought going
Yeah,
into
no.
this. I go from Pukkie. Let's go with Pukkie. What was the best season rugby you've had so far?
I would definitely say my matric year and my first year out of school, because my matric year we didn't lose a game in South Africa, and under 19 we won the under 19 Currie Cup for the first time in 10 years, and we also didn't lose a game.
So that's
So
right
that-
up there.
Yeah, I don't think
That's the one.
That's the ultimate for me. Yeah.
Lekker. Boeta, dankie. And that,
Alright,
ladies and gentlemen, is a fly-off.